Our 20 for 20 series continues this week. Anthony and Alex talk stuff, focusing this episode on The Undertaker, one of the, I don't know, probably longest tenured is the word I'm going to use. Characters going for a long time. Mark Calloway, widely successful in this role, sticking to the script. So we're going to kind of look at, I guess, whether the success of The Undertaker is due to Mark Calloway or is it due to the character? Could, like, anybody have pulled off that character? Is it just a result of the booking? Is it just the gimmick? Is it a match made in heaven for how he is and the character they chose to give him? He came up in that era, Alex, as you like to point out, of, like, the everybody's got a job gimmick. So, like, he's an Undertaker, and this guy's a repo man, and this guy is a trash man, and all that kind of crap. So, and this guy's a clown. Shout out to Doink. So, Alex, what are your thoughts? Character, Mark Calloway, what's the reason for the success that we've seen for Taker?
Well, I know you can, a lot of people will probably say it's a little bit of both or whatever, but I do think it's mainly the performer himself. I say that, yeah, he got more popular, I guess, through like that new generation where everyone had a job, but he came in before that, he definitely was there before that in 1990, before that kind of new generation run, and booked super strong, obviously, sold for no one, got the title right away, rocket ship. But I just think maybe in the beginning they could have gave a no selling gimmick to a lot of people. And they have. I mean, didn't like Nathan Jones not sell? Nails didn't sell, or what? I don't know. Just like a ton of guys, didn't sell or whatever. So, but what I think is it's because of how he embraced the character, I guess. Because if you see a lot of people now, they don't live that kind of life all the time. That might be because of like social media and stuff like that. But you really don't see just like Mark Calloway out signing autographs at all these like WrestleCons and all these other things. It's very rare. It's super rare.
Is that due to the character or is that due to just like how he? Well, no, I even remember in some of the stuff with Wrestling with Shadows and like some stuff on Bret Hart and that when they were doing like that documentary on Bret behind the scenes, like Vince was super adamant about like no one capturing any camera footage of Mark Calloway, like because he wanted everybody to be like, no, he's dead. Like you get good footage of him. It's gonna blow the gimmick. Like they were super protective of that.
Yeah, I'm sure they were super protective, and I'm combined with like he probably is kind of like a laid back kind of wants to be like in the shadows kind of guy, and this gave him the opportunity to be like, oh no, this is what we should do with this character, like I shouldn't be like out there really, and he's really not. Like you get like glimpses of him every once in a while. I mean, he just got an Instagram like a little while ago, and you see like little things, but mainly they're just like old photos of him and stuff. It's not really like his day-to-day life. Like nobody knows his day-to-day life, where we know the lives of almost all these wrestlers outside the wrestling and who their friends are that they hang out with, and all their real names and when they're going on vacation and all that stuff. And you don't know that stuff about Taker, and it helps that he came up through the 90s where you wouldn't have known that stuff. But he was very just secretive, and that goes along with the character. And I just think he's like selling it the whole way. It's like he's adopted it, and that's like his lifestyle is like to be Taker.
I don't know if I think he definitely is like that's a match made in heaven. Like that's the right character for him. Definitely better than Mean Mark Callis or whatever the hell he was in Japan or WCW or whatever. But I'm really torn on it. I just can't shake away from at that time you got this big dude who looks terrifying, doesn't sell anything, had an awesome debut, has an awesome gimmick, has a terrifying manager, has a friggin' urn. Like, that's his start. And then he wins the belt super early. And not only does he win the belt, he beats Hogan for the belt at a time where, like, people were starting to turn on Hogan a little bit. They were starting to sour on, like, the fucking real American good old boy thing. Like they're watching back that video of Taker winning that belt from Hogan. There was like a ton of cheers, and I definitely didn't expect that going back and watching it when I saw it a couple years ago. So I feel like it was kind of a right place at the right time, not to discredit Calloway, but like, and think about all the things like that they've had him do. Like the casket match was created for him. Like there's been all these innovative matches or like techniques or ideas. And granted, you can say that maybe they wouldn't have been as successful had he not been playing that character. But they gave him such great booking. They gave him such great ideas. There was so much written for the character. And I'm very much of the belief that if you book anything correctly and plan correctly, like you can make anybody anything and you can get heat for anyone and get anybody over. And I just think they put a lot of effort into that character, even so far as like with Vince protecting him off camera for like documentaries and something like that backstage and not letting him be seen. I just think a lot. I think he played that character better than anyone could have played it. But I still think that a lot of the strength of it like resides with the gimmick and resides with like the character in and of itself.
I don't know, man. You read that gimmick on a sheet of paper, sounds horrendous.
Well, no, any actor is going to bring like a role to life.
I just feel like you're like, oh, the writing and blah, 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 and how they're protecting him.
No, that character does not sound like, horrendous. Listen, you're going to be big,
yes,
right?
We're
going to give you these gloves and a tattered up like outfit. You're going to walk slow. You're going to do a choke
You're
slam.
basically saying, hey, you're going to be a zombie.
Yeah. And
That's
we're going to give
fucking horrendous.
And we're going to give you an urn. You're going to be huge. When dudes punch you, you're not going to give a shit. When you fall. Now, here's the thing. Now, here's the little things I want to know. Like, whose idea was it for the tombstone? Whose idea was, as stupid as it sounds, whose idea was the whole, like, I'm going to get knocked down and be, like, dead? And then when he does, like, his rise up thing?
His.
Whose idea was... So if that's his idea, then I might lean towards Calloway. Because then also, too, the athleticism standpoint, like, I think of him walking on the rope and, you know, doing, like, the arm chop thing. God, I hate when he does it now, and Cole's just like, vintage Taker! Like, we get it. Shut up. Yeah, like, if those are his ideas and his, like... so you know what's also tough to do, like what you just made me think about, like what? How was the character written out? How was the character created? Like on the sheet of paper, what did it say? It was like, "You're an Undertaker, go with it," or was it like, "It's this, 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 and this," and then?
I thought they basically were like, you know, you're like an undead Michael Myers. I mean, isn't that what it was basically? I don't know.
But isn't that like couldn't you get that to? Wouldn't that have been like hot regardless back then?
No. Not necessarily. No, that was a weird character for that time. It was still like, hey, you're Russian, I hate you, a little bit.
So because he was like,
I mean, he had no different character
allegiance
for that. It was like super different. I don't think like I know there's like
right, but because it was
thinking
so
about
different,
it now and thinking about like, oh, he's a zombie. Zombies are like cool. They're like, you know, they're the heels of the whatever culture. With all the Walking Dead and everything.
There's never like good guys.
Yeah, but back then it's like I don't know. That was just like not.
But couldn't it lend itself to that argument even more? That because it was so out there and so different, that it was like, oh
then
shit.
Okay, then Papa Shango.
Papa Shango was over.
Not Taker over, right? He like didn't get to that level.
I mean, he was over enough that they wanted to put him into the main event run-in for a WrestleMania, and he screwed it up and sent himself down the wagon. Also, okay. Papa Shango came after Taker, yes?
Correct.
So maybe everybody was already like, no, there's too many supernatural things, I'm out.
I highly doubt that was the case. It's just like that could have been some sort of, couldn't that have been some sort of like 20-year run? I mean, like, yeah, Charles Wright's awesome, and I like him as the Godfather, or Kama better. But
comma.
I
guess too, because like I don't know, even like the Big Boss Man, like it's gonna be like, well, you're a cop, but I think like Boss Man was like sick, and his gimmick was a cop, but he was like awesome as it. I don't think anybody could have played the Big Boss Man better than the dude who played the Big Boss Man.
Ray Traylor.
Yeah, is that his name?
Yes.
He died, right?
Yeah, of course, man.
Oh, that sucks.
Jeez, man, get with it.
Sorry.
He was inducted to the Wrestling Hall of Fame. WWE Hall of Fame.
WWE Hall of Fame doesn't freaking count.
No, I know, but he was at least inducted, and you should have seen it.
Well, yeah, but I don't pay attention to the WWE Hall of Fame because it's fake.
Well, at least Savage is in now. Why? Because Coco Beware's in?
I have no idea who's in the Hall of Fame for WWE and who's not. I literally have. It has no.
So you just shit on it, even though you don't know who's in or out of it?
I don't shit on it. I'm just indifferent to it. Like it's a fake Hall of Fame for fake. Isn't Snoop Dogg in it?
Isn't every Hall of Fame really just a fake Hall of Fame?
Yeah, but at least
what are fake? What are they really for?
At least Hall of Fames are like, oh, like I had to accomplish something, or like it was based on like real stats. Like I had to play this game really well or perform well. Like wrestling is like a WWE Hall of Fame.
I get it. It's arbitrary
for being an actor. But
no,
also,
it's arbitrary.
I would be cool with it if there weren't people like Snoop Dogg in it.
Yeah, but they have the celebrity wing. Whatever.
No,
it's like their version of they have a sports writers wing or whatever for all the other Hall of Fames. We're getting off track.
Yeah, we are getting off track. So back to Taker. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, because then also too, because you got to think too. Like now, I'm starting to like think about it even more so. Like when he became Biker Taker, when he became Biker Taker, I wanted him to go back to the old Undertaker. But now that like I look back on it, like even that is just like, well, what's the gimmick? Well, you're just gonna like ride a motorcycle and wear a bandana. But he completely recreated himself and reinvented himself is the word I'm looking for there. He completely reinvented himself and was the same name and character, but basically like a different gimmick. Came up with the Last Ride.
Yeah, man, it's. I think it's definitely him, just because he's reinvented himself. First of all, he's like an awesome professional wrestler, like athleticism wise, match quality wise.
Could you have given him another role that he would have done just as well in? Like, is it Mark Calloway to the degree that you could have given him like the Giant Gonzalez gimmick and he would have made it sweet?
I don't know if anybody would have done. You know, you could have done Giant Gonzalez maybe without the bodysuit. And it wouldn't have been so bad.
Fur.
Like the fake Tuffy fur is really, really horrible. But I could see him giving another big man role and it doing well. I mean, like Kane, for instance, did really well, but that was kind of a play on the Undertaker. But I mean, Glenn Jacobs had his own role and definitely did like a lot of.
Yeah, but he sucked as Isaac Yankem.
Yeah, and Fake Diesel. But I mean,
he was Fake Diesel. Shit.
Yeah, but it's like I get it. It's a little bit of the gimmick and how they kind of treat it. But I mean, he just has even with the Druids and the corporate ministry thing, or like because it went from like being like undead, I don't get injured to like okay, now it's more like religious. Kind of when he was like corporate ministry.
That was terrifying.
And then it was like Baker, and then it was like Biker Taker.
You said Baker?
Baker, yeah.
Baker Taker, when he was like cooking all that
bacon, bread. Yeah. He was like smoking up. And so, yeah. I loved when he was a baker.
Where does he rank in terms of
in WWE?
In terms of protected characters in WWE?
Protected characters in like WWE history. I mean, it's the same thing as like characters basically then in WWE history. I don't think.
How close is he to Hogan in terms of protection with booking and character?
I mean, he's not close to Hogan. I don't think anybody has been more protected.
Is he second
in that run? I don't really like. If you look back at it, it's like
who did they let use their gimmick? Who did they let use their gimmick?
You want to talk about protected, but they gave him like, come on, man. He faced like King Kong Bundy in a WrestleMania, like when King Kong Bundy was not good. He had to go on a whole run with Giant Gonzalez.
WrestleMania 9. But horrendous. Who like what I'm like mean? Let me phrase it better. Who did they let run roughshod over the roster to let them protect their gimmick the most? Like they let Austin beat the shit out of everybody and do whatever he wants.
I don't even know if maybe he's 5, but he might not be in the top 5 for me.
Is he behind Austin in terms of character protection?
Yeah.
in gimmick protection? He's
I think
behind
he's
Austin.
I think he's behind Austin. I think he's behind Rock. I think he's behind Triple H. I think he's behind Cena, obviously. I think he's behind Hogan. As far as full on protection, yeah.
Who's a better wrestler, Undertaker or Triple H?
Personally, I like Taker better. But that's mainly because I like his move set better, and that's just a personal preference.
Well, you also hate the shit out of Triple H, don't you? Weren't you you were a Triple H hater when he was running the shit, right?
The thing is I think I have like a pretty good memory, and so it doesn't like die off as quick. Like I don't forget about things as quickly, and I just think the ire of like the internet community when the internet was still like pretty new, when Triple H had his like run, you know, it was as bad as like, you know, Roman is right now / like, I don't know, seething wise, just like, why is this happening? Why is this going
I do not remember him being pushed like that.
There's always been that person. I mean, then it became Cena after him and then whatever. I mean, there's always been that person. But I think the fact that he's really turned people around because he's, you know, gone the corporate route and
NXT.
and then the thing is he went back to the DX for a little bit, a little nostalgia thing, had the little run with Taker towards the end of his career. He's popped in and out, but now he has the NXT. So now he's like beloved. And you don't remember that it basically just like handcuffed the championship to himself. And like for me, like he was playing the political game behind the scenes, similar to like Hall and Nash were and Hogan were in like WCW.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was like to the detriment of what was going on. It would always come back to like, well, you know, we could just keep it on me. And he just played the backstage game.
Why don't we just keep the belt on me, guys?
Yeah.
Let's calm down. I'll listen. I'll bear the burden. I'll take the belt.
It's just like I guess that's easy to forget if you weren't like a certain age during that time period and like.
Yeah, I don't think I was smarky enough then. I think it's so like funny because I'm thinking about it and playing it all back in my head. Like I remember what happened. But I like can't believe, looking back on it, that myself back then was like, well, he's married to the friggin' boss's daughter. Like, of course he's getting all this shit. And he's friends with Michaels and Hall and Nash, who are like master like political engineers in the wrestling world.
Like, you know what's funny is
it never clicked with me. No pun
we're getting
intended.
completely off the topic. But what's funny
When
about
do we not?
Correct. What's funny about the Triple H thing is they always point to that Madison Square Garden debut, like where, you know, he got the biggest pop from coming back and blah, blah, blah. And they always point to that. And they point to this when Cena comes back, surprisingly, at Royal Rumble. But
that's right.
As well. They always point
Also
to those
in the
things.
Garden.
But everything around that, it was like a yeah boo, basically. Like they were really happy in that moment or whatever. But everything before that and everything after that, they hated those guys.
Correct.
Like absolutely hated those guys.
Correct.
Like okay,
But
Cena
they're not
won.
going to acknowledge that.
No. But okay, Cena won the Royal Rumble when he came back. They hated him like the next week and all the run after, you know.
Correct.
Like, and even before that, it was just like, oh, surprise for surprise sake. Same thing with Triple H. Oh, we didn't expect him back that early. This is pretty cool. Oh, wait, this is Triple H come back early.
Boom.
And he's going to be, yeah, exactly. He's going to be a big like clog now at the top of the main event card. So that's all I'm saying is like, I don't know.
I think Taker.
That's why I like Taker better.
I think Taker's like now that I'm thinking about it, like his athleticism and his prowess in the ring is like him and Kane both. I think like their abilities as big men is super underrated. Like even just watching Kane when he first came through, or even when he like ran with X-Pac and everything. Still, his like that clothesline off the top rope was super impressive considering like how big he is and what he can do. And the Kane character was awesome. The Taker character was awesome. I think now that we've discussed it more, I'm gonna be in the performer camp.
Yes.
I think I was torn on it. The more I've thought about it, again, I think the character was sweet, and I think the gimmick was great, and the booking was solid. Again, I am a firm believer of if you book anything correctly, it can get over. That's why Cody's dog got a huge friggin' pop at All In. Like, if you book anything correctly, you can make anything happen. Booking is the most important thing when it comes to wrestling. However, that being said, yeah, I believe some people, just like an actor, like you give, me a character to play, and I'm probably not going to play it as good as De Niro. And then when you combine that certain guys fit certain roles better and are made for it, yeah, I'm gonna go with the performer camp. And I can't believe I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna side with you on this one and go with the performer route.
Yeah, you're damn right, because it's the correct route.
Yeah, especially when you take in all like the little nuance. And that's a very interesting thing I'd like to look on, like all the nuances and like the aspects of it. Like, oh, like whose idea was it for this with his character? Was it his? Was it someone else's? Was it this? Was it that? Like those cool little. I guess that's in wrestling in general, though. Like, but especially back then, you guys had so much more freedom with their characters, unlike today, where there's literally a script for everything for you to say.
All right, and that was our second episode of our 20 for 20 series. If you're liking this, give us some feedback at on our Instagram at AA Talk Stuff. Also on Twitter, same handle. Reach out to us, email us if you have any ideas for any more topics you'd like to hear in the series. And as always, we'll see you on Friday.